All right, let's get going into episode 101. Hello and welcome everyone to the GGG Podcast. As always, I am Paul and I am joined by my co-host Phil. We had our episode 100 last week, which was very, very exciting. Thank you to everyone who tuned in and watched or listened to that. We really appreciate it. It's awesome that we are over the 100 mark, and now we're back in 101. It's back in 101 time. You know, we're a freshman in college. We're going to learn about video games today. What do we got going on, Professor Phil? What's going on?
It's time to coast is what's going on now. Well, I guess we should talk about what games we played this week. However, we're going to talk about the main game we're playing this week later. I played a bit of Battlefield and played a bit of Outer Worlds 2, and then a lot of Arc Raiders. What have you been playing, Paul?
Well, I mean, you can dig in more than that, but yeah, we'll save it for. I've been playing Arc Raiders. Obviously, we're going to talk about Arc Raiders for the main topic, so we're going to save some thoughts for that. But aside from that, I've been playing Dispatch. I'm fully caught up. The finale, last two episodes of Dispatch, come out tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Great.
From when we're recording this, and I absolutely love it. We're going to talk about a little bit more. We got some sprinkling news of maybe there's a season 2 going on that we could get out of it. I would love to see that. But aside from Dispatch, I've also been playing, you guessed right, No Man's Sky.
Yeah, he's back.
I'm back, baby. No Man's Sky has officially launched their Redux expositions. This is something that No Man's Sky does every year through the holiday season, starting in November, where they take old expeditions and they throw them back into the game, and you have a week or maybe like 10 days, something like that, to try and get through them. So the first one they launched was on November 7th, N7 Day, and you guessed it right, it was the Mass Effect collaboration came back. And if you do this expedition, you can... Sorry, I'm thinking of like Expedition 33. It's like in my head for whatever reason. But if you do this expedition, you get the Normandy that can be added to your fleet. So it is completely the Normandy. It's a very good ship. It is an S-class ship. It's very cool. And I love Mass Effect. So any marriage of the things that I love, I'm all for it. So that's the first one, but the other ones that they're going to be releasing, I think there's the Titan expedition, where you can get a legendary living organism starfighter, which is really cool. And then there's Relics expedition, where I think you get like this like stone golem armor and
cool
stuff like that. And then they're going to be redoing all the Corvette stuff that I've talked about earlier this year on the podcast, and the Breach expedition. That was the latest one to come out, where you get the super sexy Tron Corvette building pieces. So yeah, it's freaking rad. It's rad, man. I love it. So I'm excited. I already got the Normandy in my fleet. I'm ready for the next expedition. I'm ready to jump back in there. But yeah, I've been playing so much Arc Raiders. Not as much as some people, but I'm probably at around like 33 hours now.
Let's see what Steam has to tell me.
Yeah,
36.8.
36. All right, you got me beat. I got a friend. I think he's almost up to 80 hours on the game. So that's
several days.
That is several days. That is he's been going. He loves that game. But all right, let's get into the major game releases coming out this week. First up, Winter Burrow. If you are a cozy gamer and you like cozying up with some hot chocolate, maybe you sneak some vodka into that hot chocolate for the holidays, and you love a little cute things, you can play as a mouse who is surviving the winter. It's kind of a survival crafting game, but also a narrative game. It looks really cozy. I looked it up because I was like, oh, my partner would be very interested in this game, and I might just buy that for them. So that's going to be coming out this week. Very excited about it. I hope that my partner likes it when I do buy it for her. So
the game seems like one of those. I feel like there was like it's got a visual art style that is so unique.
Yes.
I really really dig it. It almost looks like kind of like papercraft or like old games that you would play on your computer, like
Yeah,
circa the '90s,
like
that were
Flash
crazy,
games a little bit.
like Flash games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks really really interesting, and it's a survival crafting game, which is like kind of my whole deal. And you're just a mouse trying to survive the winter. That's great. That's brilliant. It's perfect.
It's beautiful. All right, next up, we got Anno 117 Pax Romana. For people familiar with the Anno franchise, it is a historical strategy game, although there is a futuristic Anno as well. But this Anno revolves around the Roman Empire. And so I think if you've never played it before, it's somewhere in between Civilization and Frostpunk. Where, there's some strategy, there's some fighting involved, but you're also dealing with politics. And so like a big thing in the Roman Empire of this time is like, how much do you want to force people to be Roman? And so it's like, do you want to be able to allow people to be Celtic if they're Celtic and whatnot, and navigating the politics of that, and then building up a big city. And Anno, I have to say, is one of the most beautiful strategy games out there. So if you've never checked it out and you're into strategy games, you should probably check this one out. And there's tons of different versions in it, because honestly, the one I'm most interested in is the futuristic one, because I'm like, oh, I want to like do fancy new technology, green energy, and like go to space and do all that kind of stuff. But if you're big into the Roman Empire, which was that trend this year or was that last year, Phil? I can't even remember.
I think that was last year when everyone had their Roman Empire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the Roman Empire is my Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Well, the Anno people, they saw that trend and like, we're making a Roman Empire game. Let's go. And last up, but certainly not least to most of the mainstream gamers, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is coming out towards the end of the week this week. Are you going to be picking it up, Phil? You periodically play COD.
It's on Game Pass, so sure.
Yeah.
I'll download it, run it through the new PC, see how it looks.
Do you have a group of friends that you play COD with?
No. I go into multiplayer. I pull the trigger wildly. Actually, I will say I played a lot of the last COD single player, and it was pretty good. I think it was Black Ops 6. No, maybe not. I don't know. Whatever the last one was.
Yeah.
It was like you were like Cold War spy dude. You're in a house with all these people. Like there was a very RPG element to the moments that you weren't shooting stuff, and even the shooting stuff. There was a lot of exploring and like sort of Castlevania mechanics. So they're really trying with Call of Duty to do other things while still maintaining their Call of Duty-ness, and especially in the single player, because the multiplayer is just bang bang shoot 'em up. Look, now you can lay down differently. I'm not skeptical at all. I'm very excited.
Well, I know people are excited for the game to come out. I know that Battlefield's probably cut into that market, but I'm willing to bet you that a bunch of Battlefield players are going to hop back on COD, like the trained COD players that they are. So, but yeah, and
I won't see any more people moving like this in the game.
Yeah, probably not.
Think of that. Think of that nonsense.
Freaking doing a salsa dance, Yeah, so that's exciting for the COD players out there. I hope that the zombies mode is good, because that is a mode in COD that I have really enjoyed since the original Call of Duty zombies came out, which I think was World at War, or I think it was the first was it Treyarch that put out that one? I don't remember. It wasn't part of the Modern Warfare series. It was the one after that where they're like, we're going back to World War II. So I really loved that back in the day when I was a teenager, and I hope that this is fun. A lot of their advertising has been advertising the zombie mode anyway. So yeah. All right, pressing right along. Speaking of popular competitive shooters, we're getting into the news now. Marvel Rivals had a big announcement today. We got our first trailer for Gambit, and the reveal that we would also be getting Rogue, and possibly next season, not this upcoming one, we might be getting Cyclops, because he has been featured in a lot of the animation and the art. So I mean, Gambit is my favorite X-Man, X-person. So I absolutely love this. And Phil, he's a strategist. Oh my
That's crazy.
God. Oh,
that's nuts.
Thank you.
Um,
Jeebus.
I watched the video sort of like about his abilities, and I didn't watch the full breakdown. I just watched the gameplay. I don't know if there is a full breakdown yet going over because we still have 3 days until he arrives. But it seems like you're doing damage with your throwing cards.
Yes.
And you can also like do some physical knockback stuff. But also part of it seems that you seem to be amping up your team, not necessarily healing them, but you're amping them up to do more damage.
Yeah, buffing them.
Yeah, which is freaking so cool because Gambit like takes energy and charges things with it.
Yeah.
You kind of get that moment from X-Men 97 where Gambit's on Wolverine's back and charges Skeleton and his claws start glowing.
Yes.
Freaking amazing. I'm very excited about that and very excited to see that Gambit, I think, would have been a very easy pick to be like, yeah, duelist. He throws little sharp cards that explode at people. Yeah. But this is such an interesting take on his powers, which also makes me wonder about Rogue, if they're going to make her, I'm hoping,
tank. Vanguard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vanguard would be so sick for her because, like, give her the Captain Marvel power set and then some draining stuff. I'm in. That's all you got to do. So I'm very excited about that. Also, the Scott Summers Cyclops stuff they show kind of like seems to be in relation to him and Jean, especially since Jean's in the Phoenix form. Like, I like that they're going pretty heavily in on the X-Men. It does seem like that's what Marvel is kind of pushing towards in terms of the films in the next 10 years will be very X-Men related. So they're laying the groundwork for, hey, remember these guys? They're cool. They're not the Bryan Singer ones, I promise. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. I will say one of the things I forgot to say in terms of game I was playing this week is Marvel Rivals. I've been playing the the Marvel Zombies mode.
Yeah, and
it is so fun. There's a special skin that you can unlock just by playing that game, and it is Blade with the Moonlight powers, which is or like he's the avatar of Moon Knight or of Khonshu.
Yeah,
which was in the Marvel Zombies recent like animated series.
Oh,
but okay, yeah,
very cool. Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, that mode of the game, and I hope this encourages them to keep doing it. Like you play with 3 other people, and you are just killing bosses and zombies, but basically just trying to see like how obscene you can make your powers. Like I was getting to a point where I was doing like 6 attacks in a second and like charging up all my abilities super quickly, and it just becomes like this, okay, I'm leveling this up, what can I buy to level this up? And
so it's a little bit of a roguelike mode kind of a thing?
A little bit, but then there's also, you can like buy different things for your character. So now Blade, whenever he like jumps, does his little vampire dash, he slams all the other zombies away. So there's a lot of really cool powers you do. I saw one where they were playing as Jeff, and when they go into the ground, they also like swim by zombies and knock them on their back. So it's very easy to, like, if there are lots of zombies swarming somebody, you can kind of go and defensively like hide and seek and knock them out, which is great.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some clips of the zombies mode, and it just seems like a lot of fun. I'm glad that they added a PvE mode so much faster than Overwatch did. And then even when Overwatch added it, they didn't really commit. So, yeah. So, like, I hope that Marvel Rivals commits to more PvE modes. I really want to see that. I think it would be fantastic. It's been a year since this game has been out, really, or about to be a year. So I think, obviously, we've seen some player numbers decline. But for me, it's like, I love Gambit. He's a very popular character. Rogue is a very popular character. Cyclops, these are like the prime X-Men, that we haven't really seen in other media aside from the 97 show. So I think this is a great addition. I'll definitely be jumping back on this.
Yeah,
I'm very, very pleased. And for those who don't know, the new season officially launches on November 14th. So that's when you can play as Gambit. Rogue's going to be coming a little bit later. She's going to be the second character, and we're speculating that she's a Vanguard. We don't know that she is, but that would be very cool.
We're hoping. Yeah, credit where credit's due. Marvel Rivals has just been, though their numbers are declining, like you said, they've just been supplying us a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of things for free.
And a lot of,
like, every time there's a new character, it kind of changes the way the game plays. So, very, very excited for them.
Yeah. And just one last thing. I was just so appreciative that Gambit wasn't this like, I'm gonna go and backline and sneak assassin, because we have too many of those. Like it's like with Blade being out and Daredevil being out, it's like I didn't want another sneaky. I didn't want to play Gambit that way. And also just, I love his animations with the cards and everything. I think it just looks so badass. So I'm all aboard. All right, let's move on to our next story. So Bungie is losing a lot of money. Sony has released financial numbers, and they have lost $204 million. Well, they've fallen short of expectations, shall we say. But yeah, 200.
That's pretty short.
Yeah, pretty short. $200 million. Sony's a big company, but even them, I mean, $204 million at a loss, it's pretty rough. And that's from keeping the Bungie staff going, is working on new content for the game and everything. Destiny's numbers, we've talked about it a couple times over the course of this year, they have been tanking. People are not playing Destiny anymore, and I think that Sony is looking at Destiny or at Bungie and not exactly knowing what to do with them. Marathon has been delayed indefinitely. We don't know if it's going to come out. Arc Raiders has kind of ate its lunch with the extraction shooter vibe going on. And so everything that Bungie is counting on really rests on their last DLC that's coming out at the beginning of next month, called Renegades. We've talked about it on the podcast before. This is the Star Wars crossover. It's actually a DLC I've been interested in buying, but I acknowledge it's fully because I always thought Destiny was a ripoff of Star Wars, and now they're just leaning into it. So, but if Renegades does not do well, I would highly suspect that Sony pulls the plug on Destiny altogether, where it's like, we're going to keep the servers up, but as far as any updates, as far as any listening to the community, we're done, because they are not making money, and they're not losing a little money either. They're losing a lot of money. So, yeah, I hope Renegades does well, but to me, this is more like, it just tells me it's like Bungie did not have a plan. They didn't know what they were doing, which really pisses me off. They could have made Destiny 3, Phil. Why didn't they make Destiny 3? Explain it to me.
Here's the thing, Paul. Originally, Destiny 1, Destiny 2 kind of shouldn't exist if Bungie followed their main plan, because Destiny was just going to be like a 10 to 15 year long story that they were telling on this game platform. And when they were bought by Activision, they were kind of forced to release Destiny 2, which I think was probably the best thing for them, because as we've seen, after Sony bought them from Activision, Bungie's getting passed around like a hot potato at people who just had a hand surgery party. I made that up, and I still messed it up as I was saying. But it's getting passed around like crazy. And Sony was like, yeah, do whatever you want. And now we are stuck with a game that has been out for 10 years now. It's got no new significant content. Even the content as it was existing and like as it was being added in is just kind of like, most of the expansions except for the final shape were kind of, I mean, like, people cared, but none of them just had a big impact. Destiny 3 would have been a big shift forward for them. Like, hey, we built a new thing. Granted, Destiny 2 launched on the PS4 and Xbox One. Like, this is old content and old generative stuff. Like, we need a new generation of Destiny if you want to keep making money off of it. I don't know why they thought they could keep making money forever. Destiny is good, but it's not that good. It's not Ready Player One game.
Yes, no game currently is at a state where it's just going to be able to go on forever. And it's also from a marketing place of just convincing people to buy back in. If it's another DLC and another DLC and another DLC, well, then it's another one. That's all it is. Yeah. But if you're telling people, hey, this is Destiny 3, and we are going to, it's a new engine. We've upgraded the engine. We've upgraded the mechanics. There's different planets. There's different worlds. You know, you can sell that to people. You have a big marketing push. You sell that to people. You get people back on board for a big price point, because you could go back to selling it for $70 or whatever instead of the $40 DLC packs. And you can get players re-engaged. But they really just were like, we're just going to be able to sell DLC into infinity. And that was the plan. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
like the moment you start to see the curve go down, you need to be like, okay, we need to start actually
We gotta make a new one.
making a new one or making a new game. And I think what they decided is like, well, the new game we're going to make is Marathon. But that was a huge catastrophe. And I honestly am surprised more people weren't fired because of that. I know some people were, but
Yeah.
you know, if your entire design of a game is copyright and based off an artist that you did not pay or ask to use their art, you know, that's a big problem. And like
That's something you got to check on.
yeah,
sure,
and also that's not a one person problem because there's not one person designing the environments for the entire game. That's a team of people, and they have to be aware of, well, what's the source material. And so this is a huge. I think this could be the end of Bungie as we know them. I'm not saying like Sony will dissolve the company because they're less prone to do that than Microsoft does.
Yeah.
But I see a massive restructuring coming. Yeah, and
yeah.
even if if Renegade sells well, like is it enough to do $200 million worth of sales? Like to just break even?
They're marketing it. They're marketing it like The Sims. Like they're marketing it with that same mentality of we made The Sims 3 10 years ago or The Sims 4, wherever the hell it is.
Yeah.
We'll just release content packs over and over again. And that works for The Sims because of the player base.
And there's no competition for The Sims. There's no competition.
There's no competition. Yeah. Enzo just came out and it is still probably stealing your identity. So don't play it. But what I mean, like the Destiny is just not that type of game. And I think there is something a little bit dishonest about that release style because I think Destiny was probably pretty guilty of this in a way that turned a lot of people off. I know I got turned off was when they would kind of either update so you couldn't use your favorite guns anymore, or
they would nerf them.
power creep them out. They would nerf them out like crazy. So you would have a really cool setup that you really enjoyed playing as, like you optimize all this time, and then all of a sudden you have to go grind with guns you don't like to get other guns that you might not even like, and it just continues. There is a new bit of story, and it doesn't have a plan, it doesn't know where it's going.
It's just
I think a third solid game, hey, we made this for you. It is a complete thing. Maybe we'll do some extra stuff, but here is the whole thing. Would have been so good. And Destiny doing it this way, it was just them trying to get as much money as possible and them trying to market something new, but nothing good. And granted, Bungie has that Halo pedigree, but how many people are still working there from the Halo days?
None. Like, nobody. Like, I was at a party last year, and it was funny because it was right when Concord failed for Sony. And he was talking, because they were working on Marathon, and he was talking about working on Marathon. And he's like, yeah, it's just, Sony's really not aware of like what the market wants, and the market really doesn't want Concord right now. It's like, and you think that you know what the market wants, my guy? I just like, I don't know. There's I would say that the average gamer, if we're like talking to like Gen Z gamer, a younger gamer, they don't care about Halo. They don't care. Maybe they remember Destiny, but they don't care about Halo. That happened back in Dad's day, at this point. So I'm very disappointed with this. And we're going to have to do another disappointing news story back to back with this, although this one was a little bit more predictable. Halo Infinite is officially getting its last update in the beginning of December. The Halo servers will still be kept online, but there will no longer be any quality of life updates, events, or anything like that in the game, any new content, armor sets, challenges. And there will no longer be any more support for Halo Infinite, basically starting after this update. And I think we knew that this was coming because Halo Infinite was never really a successful free-to-play shooting game, which is, again, hard to wrap my mind around how they really fumbled the bag there. But a little bit of good news for Halo fans is that the reason for this is because they are turning their team's attention to multiple Halo projects that are coming out. Now, I do think that when they say multiple Halo projects, I think that they're talking about remasters, just like we got the news that Halo 1's coming to PlayStation 5. So we're probably going to see Halo 2 and Halo 3. And we're probably going to... I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Reach remaster in Unreal Engine, because that seems to be what Microsoft's doing now, is just going to give everything the Unreal Engine treatment, which it's a great gaming engine, probably the best one out there, so I'm not going to complain about it. But do you think, Phil, that there is a possibility that we actually get a new Halo game that comes out on everything? And I'm not talking about a remaster or a remake or HD reshuffled thing. Are we going to get a new Halo game?
No, I think we're gonna get an ODST remaster, and that's it. No, I do think we're gonna get a new Halo game. I don't know what that's gonna look like, and I think they're gonna rely on Halo Campaign Evolved to sort of do a lot of the work that Halo, like to get Halo back to its old reputation. And I don't know if it's gonna work. Granted, Halo 1 was a great game. It's a great experience for those who haven't played it. It's gonna be so much fun for them to experience. One of my favorite stories about Halo is playing through the first game. I was, media blackout. I was a kid. I didn't know what was going on. And I remember fighting the Covenant and having this, turn across this bridge and be like, damn, these Covenant are so freaking annoying. I wish there was, another party fighting them. Mm-hmm. And then immediately after found the Flood. And, the game kind of did that. It really, pushed you to the limits of storytelling and gameplay. But I don't know if that still jives in the modern world of games. I don't know how far that gets you. I would like to see a new Halo game, but I kind of don't know where they go. I think you almost kind of can't continue Master Chief's story because at this point it is so insane, but Master Chief is Halo.
Yeah.
So they're in a tough position unless they do Halo way prequels where you are fighting other people on Earth, doing what the Spartans were created to do, which is to put down human rebellions or whatever.
Right.
Which would be kind of dark to play right now. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as far as where they could go, I think they have to have Master Chief in the game. Maybe you don't play as Master Chief, but we all saw how that went in Halo 5. People hated that. So I think the problem is that where Halo was very successful was that it built a universe that people cared about. Just like how you were talking about the Covenant and the Flood and everything like that. They built a sci-fi universe that people really cared about. And other video games have been able to do that before. But with Halo Infinite, what was going on in the universe? There was nothing. It was very clear that the concept for Halo Infinite was, well, it's open world. And that's as far as we got. They didn't think of any... Well, we created this new faction. I don't know. They're basically just the Protoss from StarCraft, and that's as far as we got. And it became about and then they built it on an engine that couldn't handle being an open world because they had never done that in Halo before, and so it was just a hot mess. They need to. I think if Halo is going to be successful, they need to get back to storytelling, and I think they need to get back to what games because. They need to get back to how games used to work. And that could be old gamer talking coming out of me. But I feel like what they're already doing is they're already selling us on nostalgia. They're already selling us on Halo Combat Evolved, but it's shiny. So play it again for the 40th freaking time. So it's, bring back, you do challenges in the campaign. You got to kill 100 things of this. You have a multiplayer that's not free to play. You have to buy the game to play the multiplayer, and you
be nice.
And you earned things by leveling up and not just being like, oh, you have to get 4 grenade kills in one match, regardless if your team wins or loses. It's bring tactics into the multiplayer. Be different. And you can be old and be different at the same time. And they've really not done that. And it's a shame because I was never a big Halo fan, but I always had a lot of respect for it. And undeniably, it had a great multiplayer when we were younger. But it's a shame to see a Titan of Master Chief status like fall so low that it's like, oh, maybe we'll get another Halo event in Fortnite, and that's going to be the best Halo content we're going to see. So
sadly, that is probably true. But here's the thing: is most companies don't have Super Mario. Most company like Mario as a character has had games that have just been hit. Sonic is kind of like those types of brand things. Like we look at Master Chief and Halo. A lot of times things just fall off. Like they just aren't good anymore, and that is sadly seemingly the state of Halo. I'm hopeful because I loved Halo. It's a large part of who I am as a gamer. That gun being in Helldivers made me really happy, and then I realized it's not a very good gun in that game.
Nope.
I think really the update should just be them taking the IN off of Infinite. Now it's just called Halo Finite, and it's done. It's over.
No, that might be the episode title. I might use that. All right, we need to keep moving because I've been talking too much. All right, GTA 6 got delayed. You brought it up on our Arc Raiders stream last week. When is it delayed to, Phil? What is going on? What happened?
Yeah, November, right? Hold on, let me see. GTA 6 delay. So they were delayed. I believe about 6 months, and they did it right on their earnings call, so that's kind of when we found out. November 19th, 2026, that went from May of 2026 all the way to November, which begs the question, hey, dummies, why did you say you were going to release it in May? Maybe just don't say anything until you know for sure it's coming out. And Rockstar is usually great about that, I feel like. I think they don't release trailers, they don't release a lot of stuff until like the game's a couple months out. Red Dead 2 did the same thing. And I believe the Grand Theft Auto 5.
They've done it many times. Yes.
Yeah. But this was just kind of a big slip up. And according to Jason Schreier, it has nothing to do with what I'm about to talk about. Which was their union busting and firing 34 people from their studio. But that all kind of happened in the same news cycle. They fired a bunch of people. All of a sudden, GTA 6 gets a delay, which is, again, it's such a weird thing because it kind of rocks the whole industry. Like, the amount of games that came out in November and October this year to avoid May because Grand Theft Auto staked their claim. We can't know for sure, but it feels like a lot of games are just like, all right, we're releasing then, let's go. Let's move around Grand Theft Auto because that is the only game people are going to buy that month, possibly that quarter. To now get pushed back to November. I'm sure a lot of companies are scrambling. All this to say, not a great look for 2K, not a great look for Rockstar. Now, I believe the firings were because of some union talk that was happening amongst the developers, people who worked at Rockstar. They were chatting, sending messages back and forth. Those messages got discovered, and that led to the firings, which a lot of people who are detractors to this say is union busting, and I personally think it is union busting. So, yeah, that is the state that we're in. It has been pushed back. Some bad news stories. Will it matter ultimately? No, Grand Theft Auto 6 is still going to sell a million bajillion copies.
Yes, it is.
They're going to have 17 re-releases,
Yeah, it's unfortunate to say, but like this is typical Take-Two. This is delay. This is fire. This is, a lot of video game companies, the employees have been trying to unionize, and there's a lot of layoffs that have been happening over this year and last year and the year before that. And so it's unfortunate to see, we had to talk about it because it was Grand Theft Auto, but yeah, it's delayed. I'm not surprised. I am going to be freaking furious if it gets delayed again to 2027. That's going to drive me crazy. And I'm sure Sony and Microsoft are going to be pissed about it as well. Because I know that Sony's already like, hey, we need to start moving on to PlayStation 6. So is this going to be a dual release? What is going to happen with that? So, all right.
If they push it to the end of the console lifecycle like they did Grand Theft Auto 5, it just means they could sell more future iterations of it, which is so gross and sucks so much. And All right. Let's move on to Sony.
Let's move on to Sony. We're going to go through this really quick. So there was a State of Play Japan today. So mostly, in fact, not mostly, pretty much all Japanese companies and Japanese related games. And so for the Western gamers out there, there's some things in here to look forward to, but there's lots of stuff. If you are really into Japanese games, go check out the State of Play. It was a pretty good presentation. They showed off a lot of stuff, including Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, Coffee Talk Tokyo. There were lots of indie games in here. Some of them were kind of like, this looks like everything else. Some of them actually looked pretty good, though, as well. Like, there were a couple of side-scroller beat-em-ups that looked cool.
Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse looked great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looked really cool.
I really thought Blaze Blue Entropy looked really cool. I really like that art style. It kind of like what you were saying earlier in the episode, Phil, with like the flash, like how it looks with the Winter's Hollow or whatever the game came out. Yes, Winter Burrow, my mistake. So I like that crisp flash look with like side scrollers and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. But probably the biggest news to come out of the State of Play was that we got Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. We got a beta announced for the PlayStation 5, and it would be happening in early December. I think it was the first weekend of December.
I believe the 5th through the 8th. Or the 5th through the 7th?
Yes, 5th through the 7th. That is the first weekend of December. So that's exciting.
You can go sign up right now on PlayStation's website.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yes, sign right up. And they confirmed that Spider-Man and Ghost Rider would be playable during the beta, which is very cool. We also got a little flash of Doctor Doom fighting. Or I don't know if Doctor Doom was in the original trailer or not. But for people who are hyped about Marvel Tokon, the fighting game, good news for you there. And then probably the biggest news, which is that Elden Ring Night Rain DLC is coming. And it is the Forsaken Hallows. Now, this is included in the Elden Ring Night Rain Digital Deluxe Edition. So if you bought that, you will not have to pay for the Forsaken Hallows. But if you did not buy the Deluxe Edition, you will have to pay separately for this. So more Elden Ring content. I'm sure people are going to be all over that. Very, very cool. Yep. And then last but not least, we have a region-locked Japanese PS5. Which Phil and I were watching this, and it kind of bewildered us a little bit. Like, we don't know why you would region lock a PS5, have a PS5 only in Japanese. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. And it turns out this is a tactic that not only Sony has done, but Nintendo has done this as well with their Switches. And they are doing it to get around tariffs. Because this way they can sell their console for a cheaper total in Japan than they can in other parts of the world, primarily in the United States, because we're adding tariffs to everything that's coming in to the country. So cool, I guess.
Because we're doing great here. Yep. It's so great that Sony was like, well, so we're just making a PlayStation just in Japanese.
Just for Japan. You guys are doing what you're doing over there. So
really, really making the world a better place. It's funny, though, because like if you think about it, it is just a less feature-rich version of a PlayStation 5 that's already out there, which from a consumer perspective, bummer. But also, like, you know what? Frickin' get us, dog, because right now we are just not earned the ability to have nice things.
Yes,
as a people.
I mean, if you can charge $150 less, like, you know, or yen, so
yeah.
Anyway, all right, pressing right along. Go ahead.
Pressing right along.
No, do it.
They also announced. So that last State of Play, they have a new speakers that you get, the Pulse speakers, whatever. Mm-hmm. Now they announced that they have a new monitor that kind of works in tandem with the Pulse speakers. It's got a little flip out on the bottom that you can plug your controller onto to charge. I really like it as a desktop PlayStation player myself. I think it's really cool. A lot of money. Not sure that I would, want to buy that. But if you are looking for a monitor and you have a PlayStation you primarily play on there, seems like a really cool option. Seems like you can really deck your desk out with like pieces that all work together, which is what is great about the console atmosphere. That's all I have.
Right on. Yeah. Good insight, Phil. Last but not least on the news, so Dispatch, as I was talking about earlier, it might be getting a season 2. And the developers, Ad Hoc Studio, have hinted that there might be, with the finale coming out tomorrow, that they might be leaving a loose end open where the story could continue. And this is alongside with the fact that the game has sold over 1 million copies in the first 10 days of being released. So that's very, very cool. And on Steam, it's recorded 131,000 concurrent players. That's players playing the game at the same time. And that's just on Steam. And I kind of think Dispatch, while, it's popular on Steam and everything like that, this is also a very console-like game. I'm happy I bought it on my PlayStation. I think it's so much like a TV show. It feels very appropriate to be playing it on my TV in the living room. So I would love if they do season 2. If the game continues to sell, it's been all over my gamer feed. Tons of spoilers on there, so be careful. And I'll be playing the finale tomorrow when it comes out, so nothing is spoiled for me. But yeah, I would absolutely love it. The game reminds me so much of like Invincible, and the writing is so intelligent. Obviously, their partnership with Critical Role and everything like that. I think the writing is excellent. So I want more and more Dispatch. This might be my favorite Telltale game, and I know they're not Telltale anymore, but you know what I mean. So, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely, I love Dispatch. I played the first 2 episodes on stream. You can go check that out on my Twitch, twitch.com/PhilboFragons. Whoopsies. I made the name and I tripped over it. It's funny because I've had so many friends that I surprise their Twitch streams and they say that. They're like, oh no, whoops. Anywho, rolling right along.
Right?
I am excited to see the rest of the game. I've decided to hold off until it's all out because it was coming out on a week-by-week basis.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Even if there is not a season 2 of Dispatch, I'm sure they are working on whatever is next. It might be a completely different thing, which would also be excellent because this writing team is so strong, like you were saying. Their voice cast was excellent, and I think they kind of did exactly what they needed to do. They got a lot of big names in there. They got a lot of up-and-comers in the scene. So, this is just an excellent thing. I want... this is the new going forward Telltale game killer.
Yes.
So, a better option all around. And if they take a couple of years between games, that's great. Don't flood the market. But just so happy to see it, and so happy to see people want a season 2.
No, I think it's great, and I think honestly it would be stupid not to do season 2 with the amount of money that they've spent on the assets that they use in this game. Starting over, even if you're using the same engine, starting over, it's like, okay, well, we got to design a whole new cast of characters. That's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of money. Obviously, we want new characters and new venues and new designs in season 2, but you can still reuse a lot of the stuff that they've already put out there in season 1. So, all right.
Exactly.
We are running out of time, but we are still going to do our main topic. So we are talking Arc Raiders, as everyone and their mother and their father and their brother and their sister are playing. Every gamer all over the world is playing this game, except for the countries that it's not in for whatever reason. But
suck it, Uganda. No, I don't know if it's in Uganda.
It might be in Uganda. I don't know. But yeah, I think what we really wanted to talk about, Phil, is just why is this game having such success? Because there have been other extraction shooters to come out. Obviously, Tarkov is the big one, although it's very, very hardcore. And we have discussed before about how Arc Raiders seems like it's a little bit more casual. It's a little less. It's a little risk friendlier, I guess. Not as high risk because you can do free loadouts and it's easy to get stuff again. We've talked about the player community being positive, but what is it about Arc Raiding that's so addictive that has people like my friend who have put in 70, 80 hours already and the game's been out for 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm with you there where I'm like, okay, what is it that makes this game so special? What is the secret sauce that this game is running with? And I think it's a combination of all the things you said. It rewards you for risking stuff. It rewards you for trying to discover new things and experimenting. And I personally feel like I have been rewarded by communication. Like, this game is one of the first games where I'm like, oh, my mic's got to be on. I got to have prox chat because, I gotta find a way to communicate with
Yeah.
these people that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And to me, that has made like such a fun social experiment that every time I run into somebody, I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And also, so many cool experiences where I've met people who have said things that have made me laugh, or like I met this dude who was looking for a prickly pear, and then we heard a flute playing, and this woman came by playing a flute, like just walking down the road, just like friendly, just playing a flute, to let you know where I am, and just kept going, and it creates these really unique experiences that you don't get in a lot of games. And the visuals are great, the style is great, the monetization, but it's not required. Like you could just pay the base price of the game and get going, you know?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Like
also it's a $40 game. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
$40 game. I think the social component is the biggest component. Like I think that, you know, there is a lot less risk in playing this than Tarkov. You can do free loadouts. You don't have to interact with people. Like if you're really trying not to interact with people, you can, you know, play the game that way. But I think the open communication, and I think there's a lot of people, I don't want to call them casual gamers, but I think gamers who would be adverse to the high stress environment of Tarkov, more mainstream gamers are playing this game. And Arc Raiders is now definitely a mainstream game. So, like, I think there's a lot of people that are having a lot of fun. To me, the game really reminds me of the original Last of Us multiplayer mode. Very, very much. And how fun that game was. And now you've just played, you've made a gameplay loop of that, but you've added PvP enemies. And the PvP enemies are very successfully terrifying. Like, Leapers are terrifying. Bastions are terrifying. The Queen is terrifying. And I'm sure there's more enemies to come as well. And so, like...
You see 2 wasps and a hornet, and it's actually kind of scary if your loadout isn't pitch perfect.
Yeah, if you're like, I came with a free loadout, I don't know if I want to pick a fight with a bunch of wasps and a hornet.
And will doing that bring more people over here?
Exactly.
Like, it's a whole thing.
I'm going to make a lot of noise, everything like that. So I think the game is definitely probably up there for the best multiplayer game of the year. I have seen a streamer, I think his name is Shroud, say that Arc Raiders needs to be the game of the year and not have Expedition 33 take the award. Have you seen this at all?
No, I thought you were going to talk about the guy who said there's not enough content in the game. Have you heard of this?
No, I haven't.
I don't know if that was Shroud as well.
I think there. It might be. Well, I don't know. It's probably not Shroud. Look up who that is. But the Shroud's called for Game of the Year. It's like, I don't know that I would go that far. I love Arc Raiders. I think it's a fantastic multiplayer game. I'd probably put it in first place for multiplayer Game of the Year right now. But I think that when you're talking about Game of the Year, a game has to be more than a gameplay loop. And this game feels very much just like a gameplay loop. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's very much a, how do I get my dopamine kind of a game, as opposed to like what my preference is. And it's, you know, this is subjective because it's art, and that's what art is. But like, you need to have some sort of story that's being told. And there are elements of Arc Raiders that do feel like that hasn't been fully fleshed out. We have an area that has yet to be released. There's only 4 maps in the game. The monetization with the cosmetics is not good. Like, and the Raider deck that you get for free is not good either. You know, we've talked about it while we've played it. Like, what do I have to collect all these credits so I can unlock a receding hairline for my characters? What do I have to collect all these credits so I can get mud on my face? Like, these are things that should already be in the game, that they're putting walls up and roadblocks up. So did you find what you were looking for?
I couldn't find the exact streamer. I saw it on the Arc Raiders Reddit, but I think the complaint has to do with someone who played 150 hours in 10 days saying not enough content in the game, which is,
it sounds like a Monster
insane.
Hunter.
Yeah, and listen, can't even get that out of Monster Hunter. I love Monster Hunter, but it's just not happening.
Yeah.
That is, I think this game, it poses a really unique and interesting thing. It has its drawbacks, like we were talking about. The monetization is not good. I feel like that was sort of very after the fact. But I do feel like this game, much like Fortnite, was kind of a pivot, where they were planning to do a more PvE game. Like, it was just PvE, and made the switch to PvPvE, and that was, I think, the huge win for them. Much like Fortnite was like, okay, we're making a crafting game, and then they went, okay, we're going to make a battle royale. This one said, okay, we're going to make an extraction shooter with a great game underneath, like a great game that was not trying to be Helldivers anymore, which is what they kind of marketed. I remember last year, like a year and a half ago, seeing this game Arc Raiders is like Helldivers with a whole different aesthetic.
Right.
And marketed to me as that. I was interested, but it's not the same as seeing what the game is now, which is a completely different thing.
Absolutely.
So I think they were agile with what they did, and I think Embark is also, they have a great reputation for what they've done with the finals in terms of the content that they give you. It's substantial stuff. The game looks good, and they are not shy about updating it and making things better.
Yeah. The finals has gotten an update like every freaking week. It's been crazy since it came out.
It's nuts.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the game, far and away best multiplayer game this year. It's really exciting, and I think it's really unique in the social circumstances that it creates in each game. And every clip that I see that's really interesting, it's because of a social interaction. I mean, you get the jaw drop clips of people not knowing what a leaper is and then shooting it and then realizing. But yeah, exactly. But I think the social element is really, really doing well. And I think that when you have a younger generation who is more reliant on video games to as their social activity, that you're really capitalizing on something here. So I think it's great. I want to see the game. I do want more content in the game, so I'm not to agree with your 150-hour Reddit poster. But it does need more content in the game. It needs more maps. Yeah. Like, I think, even like a hub area would be a little cool, even if it was just to be like with your party that you're in or something like that. I also think inventory management is a freaking nightmare. And it's something that I hate in a lot of these games. And why? You're taking up so much of my time in the inventory management instead of just letting me play the game, which is what I really want to do. So yeah.
I will make an argument on behalf of inventory management that I like the fact that you kind of have to be like, oh crap, there's like a big explosion happening outside and I got 15 seconds.
In game.
Dropping the oil can.
In game, I'm fine with it.
Great. Yes.
When you're not in game, when you're at your stash,
it is a nightmare.
I hate it because it's just, and I think I've talked to you about this before, but if, like, let's say I can, like, arc power cells, that's a common item you can pick up. You can carry a stack of 5 of them in one inventory slot. But if I put them in my stash, it's still a stack of 5. If I put them in my stash, I should be able to have a stack of 20 or a stack of 25 or something. They're in my stash. I'm not juggling weight around, in game. That's an element of the gameplay. I totally understand that part of it.
Yes.
So
that I agree with you completely here, that when you're at home, like the amount of times that it gets filled up so quickly, they really need to update it that you can stack just a lot higher. Because granted, also money's not a problem in the game. Like, I feel like the economy is a little wonky because I'll have like $100,000 and I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this.
Right.
But I think the game's got such a promising start for where it is. Like, it feels so feature complete in a lot of ways, and the areas they made are such a playground. Like, there's so much to discover and find out, and like puzzles to break down. And I feel like it's kind of that water cooler / recess moment where someone's like, if you go up the coast of Cinnabar Island a bunch of times, you'll run into Missing No and you can clone a Pokemon. Where someone's like, oh, did you do this thing where you like ran down the tunnel, or did you jump through that window that like then you go down the stairs and jump through another window? There's a lot of cool stuff that just keeps like being spoken about in the game, and a lot of things I have like to research to figure out. That I'm just enjoying that element of it quite a bit, and I think that's what makes it special. Like, they don't tell you everything, they don't tell you much, they just set you free.
Yeah. So, fantastic game. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep playing it. I'm probably going to play some tonight. So, it's very exciting. But yeah, we got to wrap it up there for episode 101. We hope you enjoyed this 101 class with us. and that you continue your education on video games with Phil and I. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We're Golden Glaze Gaming. And if you're listening to the audio-only podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can follow us over there as well. We'd really appreciate it. We got 69 views on our stream on Arc Raiders the other day. Hey, very fun.
Hey, nice.
Nobody else go
watch it.
Exactly.
Watch the next one.
Watch the next. All right, we're ending it there. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.